We kid sometimes with Pite previous series. Yeah, Why Destiny.
Oh, Why Destiny?
Oh.
You're watching Why Destiny in a parking lot.
Hey guys, welcome to LoveCast, the Boys Love podcast, where we talk about everything related to boys love. I'm your host, Kayla, and with me is my co-host, Alexa.
Hello.
So the setup of this episode is a little different. Today we'll be joined by a Thai interpreter because we'll be speaking with the cast of the ongoing BL series, You're My Sky. Now, when I say cast, I mean all three couples, but to make sure we get to really know each actor, we'll be interviewing them in pairs. That being said, let's go see what everyone's up to. Welcome, you guys.
Welcome.
ค่ะวันนี้ขอบคุณนะคะที่เข้ามาร่วม
Thank you ครับผม
Yeah, so today we have Tae and Swar from You're My Sky. They are the main couple in the series. And we gathered some questions from fans because they had a lot to ask you. So these first couple questions are going to be for the both of you to answer.
ค่ะก็วันนี้นะคะเริ่มต้นจากคุณเต้แล้วก็คุณเสือซึ่งเป็น main character ของเรื่อง You're My Sky วันนี้เนี่ยมีคำถามมาจากแฟนคลับเยอะแยะเลยนะคะก็คำถามแรกๆนะคะจะอยากให้ทั้งสองท่านตอบทั้งคู่นะคะ
ครับผม
ครับ
Okay, so did either of you know about BL or Series Y before auditioning for You're My Sky?
ทั้งคุณเต้กับคุณเสือเลยได้ทราบเกี่ยวกับพวกซีรีส์ที่เป็นBL หรือว่าซีรีส์ Y ก่อนที่มาออดิชั่นเรื่อง You're My Sky หรือเปล่าคะ
ทราบนี่คือยังไงอะครับคือแบบรู้มาก่อนว่ามีอย่างนี้เหรอครับ
Do you mean by that if there's such things such genre
Yeah, just like if you're aware of the genre, if you had ever watched before, stuff like that.
ค่ะประมาณว่าเคยได้ยินไหมเคยดูไหมรู้ไหมว่ามันมีมาก่อนอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะ
พี่เต้ก่อนหรือผมก่อน
เสือก่อนเลยก็ได้
โอเคครับของเสือก็รู้มาก่อนนะครับเพราะว่ามันก็เป็นกระแสในช่วงหลายๆปีที่ผ่านมาก็รู้สึกว่ามีซีรีส์ Y มาสักพักแล้วก็รู้สึกว่ามันก็เป็นเรื่องปกติใช่ๆ
For Sia, he has heard about it before. It has been becoming something that's quite trendy in the upcoming past year, and it's nothing too unfamiliar.
Right, that makes sense.
ของผมก็ผมเคยเล่นครับของผมก็ผมเคยเล่นซีรีส์ Y มาก่อนครับเรื่องนึงก็เรื่องนี้เป็นเรื่องที่2นะครับผม
Forte he has already have an experience playing in series Y before. This is his second series actually.
Right, so you were in Why Destiny.
Yes.
Did you feel the shows were very different when preparing for the audition process and everything like that?
คิดว่าตัวซีรีส์เนี่ยตอนที่กับออดิชั่นกับมาถ่ายทำเป็นจริงเนี่ยมันแตกต่างกันมากไหมคะ
ของผมคิดว่ามันจะแตกต่างกันตรงที่เวลาถ่ายทำจริงๆเราจะลงลึกเรื่องตัวละครมากกว่าครับมากกว่าที่จะตอนที่เป็นแคสบทหรือว่าออดิชั่นเนี่ยครับมันจะมีรายละเอียดให้เราเก็บเยอะกว่าครับ
So for the main differences would be that when he comes to the real filming there is more getting into the character, more details, more in the mood rather than during the audition it's more of just reading the dialogue itself.
Right. that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So what was your first time meeting each other like? Was there any awkwardness, and what were your first impressions of each other?
แล้วตอนคุณเต้กับคุณเสือเจอกันครั้งแรกเนี่ยเป็นยังไงบ้างคะแบบมีความออกเวิร์ดบ้างไหมหรือว่ามีความประทับใจครั้งแรกที่พบกันยังไงบ้างคะ
คือครั้งแรกที่พบกัน
เสือ
ผม
นะครับ
คือ
ก็มันไม่
เสือไปเลยเสือก่อนเล
เต้
ย
ก่อนเลย โอเค ของเสือที่เจอกับพี่เต้ตอนแรกมันไม่ได้เชิงแบบออกเวิร์ดขนาดนั้นครับเป็นแบบเขานิ่งมากกว่าพี่เต้เขาจะเป็นคนแบบนิ่งๆถ้าเราไม่เข้าหาเขาก็จะแบบนิ่งแล้วเราก็จะงงๆว่าเอ้ยทำไมเขานิ่งขนาดนี้วะตอนเจอกันครั้งแรกครับ
So there was no awkwardness but since They was very calm individual. If so, for he had to go in and approach him. If he doesn't approach, then you would wonder, oh, why this person is so very calm and still.
Right.
ส่วนของผมก็คือผมจะเป็นคนนิ่งอยู่แล้วครับถ้าผมเจอคนที่แบบไม่รู้จักแล้วยังไม่ได้สนิทกับเขามากอย่างเงี้ยครับผมก็จะเป็นคนนิ่งๆแล้วก็ไม่ค่อยพูดเป็นฝ่ายเริ่มพูดก่อนอย่างเงี้ยครับแต่ว่าตอนนั้นเจอกันครั้งแรกเสือมันก็ยังแบบทำตัวไม่ถูกครับเพราะว่ามันเพิ่งเจอกันครับก็ต้องใช้เวลาสักพักนึงกว่าว่าจะคุ้นเคยกันแล้วก็สนิทกันครับ
Yeah, for him he usually is quite very quiet. He doesn't really go up and talk to someone that he just met at the beginning as much. And of course, Sia was also in the first meeting. He did not approach him so much. So at the beginning, it wasn't awkward, but this is how he usually is in general.
I can understand that. I'm the same way.
เป็นเหมือนกันเลย
I think that is I think that's also a little similar to your character. Because you play a very calm and collected and quiet character in You're My Sky.
คุณเคียร่าคิดว่าคุณเต้ก็คือนิสัยจริงๆก็เหมือนกับนิสัยในบทละครเลยใช่ไหมคะค่อนข้างคามแล้วก็นิ่งๆyeah
บางช่วงเวลานะ
Sia said sometimes
sometimes So we have a question from a fan from Canada who also sends their love and wishes for you all to stay healthy. But they asked, what made you decide to audition for You're My Sky?
ค่ะคำถามต่อไปเนี่ยเป็นคำถามที่มาจากพวกชาวแฟนๆที่อยู่ประเทศแคนาดานะคะก็ทางแฟนเขาก็อยากให้ทั้งคุณเต้แล้วก็คุณเสือเนี่ยมีสุขภาพแข็งแรงด้วยแต่คำถามเนี่ยก็คือสาเหตุอะไรนะคะทำให้คุณเต้กับคุณเสือเนี่ยได้ตัดสินใจมาออดิชั่นเรื่อง You're My Sky ค่ะ
คือตอนแรกก็มีพี่ผู้จัดครับให้เขาก็ให้อ่านให้บอกก่อนว่าคือเรื่อง You Are My Sky แล้วก็บอกว่ามันเป็นหนังสือผมก็เลยไปลองดูว่ามันเป็นยังไงครับแล้วก็พอได้รู้บทที่เราต้องแคสคือทับฟ้าผมก็คิดว่ามันก็เหมือนผมดีครับก็เลยลองไปแคสดูครับผมพอได้เห็นคาแรคเตอร์ได้เห็นบท
ผู้จัดการบอกให้
ได้เห็นคาแรคเตอร์ได้เห็นบทผู้จัดครับพี่ผู้จัด
ผู้จัดการบอก
ผู้จัดครับ
พี่ผู้จัดโอเค
ผู้จัดซีรีส์ครับผู้คน
manager told him about
ผู้จัดซีรีส์ครับ
ผู้จัดซีรีส์ so the producer of the series have told him about the series and then showed him told him that it's from the book. That's why they had opportunity to go and read the book and see the character, which he found himself quite relatable for the character. He saw a lot of similarities, so that's why he decided to come to audition for this role.
And what about you, Swar?
โอเคของเสือก็ตอนแรกพี่เขาให้ไปอยู่ดีๆแบบไม่ใช่อยู่ดีๆเอาใหม่คือตอนแรกพี่ผู้จัดเหมือนกันครับคือหนึ่งในผู้จัดผมเคยทำงานกับพี่เขามาก่อนและทีนี้เหมือนพี่เขาเห็นเราใน IG อีกทีนึงเขาก็เลยแบบลองชวนเรามาแคสดูครับคือตอนแรกที่มาแคสก็คิดว่าแบบก็รู้แล้วแล้วว่ารู้แล้วแหละว่ามันเป็นกีฬาต้องเล่นกีฬาบาสแต่เราไม่คิดว่าเขาจะ ให้เราเล่นหนักขนาดนี้ โดนหลอกมา
So first he already known personal from the producer team. They have worked before in the past, and he had his Instagram account. So they've reached out to him to ask him to come and have a casting for a role, which he knew from the beginning that this role will be involved with basketball, but he didn't know it will be involved this much. He feels that he was quite fooled for the role because right now he's playing basketball way too much in this role.
too much
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had to learn how to play basketball for the role. So I guess you did.
อันนี้คุณเสือต้องเรียนเพิ่มตั้งใจเรียนเล่นบาสเพิ่มหรือเปล่าคะเพราะคุณเคล่าสงสัยว่าต้อง
คือก็ได้เรียนทั้งพี่เต้ทั้งเสือแล้วก็มีน้องเพิร์ทอีกคนหนึ่งที่เล่นเป็นทัพบกครับคือทุกคนก็ไปเวิร์กช็อปบาสเพิ่มด้วยกันหมดเลยครับ
Yes, they all not just him, Tae and also another person in the series. Three of them had to go to the extra workshop to gain their basketball.
I mean, it looks really good in this series. I don't know that much about basketball, but it looks very like you guys know what you're doing.
คุณอเล็กซ่าบอกว่าทุกคนเล่นเก่งมากเลยแสดงว่าต้องไม่แสดงเก่งก็ต้องเล่นเก่งจริงๆแล้วใช่ไหมคะ
So you told us a little about how you decided to audition, but the roles that you auditioned for, did you audition for the character that you are playing now, or did you audition for a different character?
แล้วเมื่อกี้เนี่ยก็ได้แจ้งมาแล้วว่าสาเหตุอะไรถึงได้ไปตัดสินใจไปแคสนะคะแล้วตอนไปออดิชั่นเนี่ยบทบาทที่ได้รับตอนนี้เป็นใช่บทบาทที่ตอนนั้นไปแคสจริงหรือเปล่าคะ
ใช่ครับของผมใช่ครับบททับฟ้าเลยครับ
For Tae is yes he casted for this role and he got this role แล้วคุณเสือล่ะคะ
ของเสือก็เหมือนกันครับแบบตัวละครทอนคือตัวสุดท้ายที่พี่เขายังหาไม่ได้สักทีอะครับก็เลยแบบได้คุยกับพี่เขาก็เลยได้เป็นตัวนี้เลยเพราะว่ามันเหลือตัวเดียวแล้ว
Yeah, the role that he casted was also the role that he got, which was the last role that they couldn't find the person, but find the actor, and here he is.
That makes me curious. If you could play another character in the series, who would you want to play, or who would you want to have audition for?
แล้วอย่างนี้เนี่ยถ้าสมมติว่าจริงๆมันมีบทบาทอื่นที่มันว่างหรือว่าเราตอนนี้อยากเล่นเป็นบทไหนคะถ้าไม่ใช่บทที่เราได้เล่นตอนนี้
ก็จะถ้าเป็นบทอื่นใช่ไหมครับก็จะเป็นตัว V ครับผม
V
Yes nice I feel like he would be a fun character to play
น่าจะเป็นคาแรคเตอร์ที่สนุก
ใช่ครับเป็นแบบมันมีหลากหลายอารมณ์แล้วแบบมันแซ่บอะครับ
There's many moods that you can play with in a V character. He thinks that it's quite entertaining if he can play that role.
Yeah, so it seems like Tae's camera dropped out.
Gone.
Yeah, it's gone. While we figure out where Tae went, we can focus on some questions that fans had for you. So okay. Alexa, do you want to go ahead with that?
Yes.
ระหว่างคุณเต้กลับมาเนาะงั้นขอcover คำถามที่แฟนคลับถามคุณเสือแล้วกันนะคะ
ได้ครับ
So the first thing I have to ask, since we've seen them running around in the background, your cats, what are their names and how old are they?
ก็ตอนนี้เห็นมีแมวเยอะแยะเลยตอนนี้ไม่ทราบว่ามีแมวกี่ตัวอายุเท่าไหร่ชื่ออะไรบ้างคะ
This one name Chloe.
Chloe, so cute.
Chloe is 8 months.
8 months.
Oh, just a baby.
น่ารักมากเลย
And his dad. Wait a minute.
Oh, he has an entire family. นี่มีทำเป็นครอบครัวเลย Oh, so cute.
ตอนนี้จะมีแค่ มีแค่ปลอกหมอน this one name ปลอกหมอน
ปลอกหมอน pillowcase it means
ปลอกหมอน
pillowcase
yes pillowcase in Thai
Pillowcase. Oh, that's so cute. I also have my cat is in the background here.
คุณอเล็กซ่าก็มีแมวอยู่ตรงหน้าเรา
What's his name?
Her name is Melody. Yeah, Melody.
Oh, so cute.
That's so cute. I love when we get to see like interviewers' pets and stuff popping up on the screen.
he's back now.
They come back.
Tay's back. Yay.
โทรศัพท์ดับครับมันร้อนเกินมันขึ้นว่าร้อนเกินแล้วดับไปเลย
His phone was too hot the temperature got
Oh
so
no.
hot.
It's okay. We were just being introduced to Soar's cat, so
คุยกับเกี่ยวกับแมวของคุณเสืออยู่ รอคุณเต้ไปพังๆใช่ค่ะ
all right. Do we want to get back into things?
Yeah, so getting back into some of the fan questions for both of you. People would like to know what your first thoughts were finding out about your characters and the storyline of the show.
อันนี้ก็เป็นคำถามสำหรับทั้งสองท่านเลยนะคะคิดยังไงบ้างเป็นครั้งแรกเมื่อพอได้รับทราบเกี่ยวกับตัวละครแล้วก็เนื้อเรื่องของตัวละครที่เราจะได้เล่นนะคะ
รออยู่นึกว่าเสือจะเอาก่อนได้ยินครับนึกว่าเสือจะเอาก่อนผมก็รอนึกว่าเสือจะ
they're waiting for each other to speak first
Yeah. We do the same thing.
เอาไงเสือ
เอาไงดี
เต้ก่อน
ถามว่าอะไรนะครับ
คำถามเกี่ยวกับว่าคุณคิดยังไงเป็นครั้งแรกที่พอได้ทราบเกี่ยวกับตัวละครแล้วก็เนื้อเรื่องของตัวละครที่เราจะได้เล่นค่ะ
ครั้งแรกที่ผมรู้ลึกเกี่ยวกับตัวละครนะครับผมก็คิดว่าเขามีตัวละครคาแรคเตอร์มันมีความเหมือนผมครับคือการที่เจอคนแบบที่ผมไม่สนิทหรือว่าแบบไม่รู้จักมันก็จะเป็นคาแรคเตอร์ที่แบบนิ่งๆเหมือนอย่างเช่นตัวท็อปฟ้าครับพี่ฟ้าจะมีฉายาว่าฟ้าหน้าเดียวที่ทอนคนคิดให้อย่าง EP ล่าสุดที่เพิ่งออกไปครับก็ผมว่าคาแรคเตอร์เขามันเหมือนผมจนทำให้ผมสนใจว่าถ้าเล่นให้เหมือนตัวเองแต่ว่าไม่ใช่ตัวเอง
So the first time when I found out in depth about the character he realized that a lot of similarities that he have with the character and he can relate to just like he mentioned before like as they call his character that they only have one face as they are so calm and very still whenever they meet a new person so what he had in mind is that he just have to play this character just like himself who isn't himself แล้วคุณเสือล่ะคะ
ครับผมของเสือก็ตอนที่ไปรีดดูกันครั้งแรกก็คือรู้สึกว่าเนื้อเรื่องมันแบบมันสนุกกว่าที่เราคิดไว้อะครับพอได้รู้เกี่ยวกับสตอรี่ไลน์ของทั้ง3คู่เลยเรารู้สึกว่ามันแบบมันดูมีอะไรมันดูมีแบบสิ่งที่แบบทำให้เราสนุกได้แค่การอ่านครั้งแรกอะครับ
So first time when Sarah read the storyline, not just for himself but for the entire 3 couples, he found out that it was quite very interesting storylines. So it's not just looking into his own character himself, but he enjoyed the entire story.
Yeah, we've been loving it. I think me and Kayla are both huge fans so far of all the storylines.
Definitely. So we wanted to ask you guys just one more question. Time went by really fast, but we wanted to know if you have anything you'd like to say to international fans.
ค่ะก็เวลาผ่านไปไวกว่าที่คิดเร็วมากเลยนะคะอยากจะฝากทั้ง2ท่านเลยมีอะไรจะบอกแฟนคลับในทั่วโลกไหมคะ ไปก่อนเลยค่ะคุณเต้
ก็ขอบคุณทุกคนนะครับที่คอยติดตามซีรีส์ You Are My Sky ของพวกเรานะครับก็อยากให้ดูต่อไปเรื่อยๆครับเพราะว่าความสนุกความเข้มข้นมันจะเพิ่มขึ้นไปเรื่อยๆครับแล้วก็ที่เหลือให้เสือพูดครับ
So thank you so much everyone for following our series and being a fan of You're My Sky. I would like you to continue watch us and stay tuned because more even exciting and entertaining stories are coming up and the rest I will give it to Sia to say more.
ก็สำหรับเสือก็อยากขอบคุณครับแฟนต่างชาติทุกคนที่แบบเปิดใจเข้ามาดูเรื่อง You Are My Sky ก็อยากให้บอกต่อกันไปเรื่อยๆว่าแบบสิ่งที่เราทำออกไปมันผมขอเริ่มใหม่นะครับ
ค่ะเริ่มใหม่ได้ค่ะ
ครับผมก็อยากขอบคุณแฟนๆต่างประเทศทุกคนนะครับที่เปิดใจเข้ามาดูเราแล้วก็อยากจะให้ติดตามกันต่อไปครับเพราะว่าอย่างที่พี่เต้บอกครับว่าสตอรี่มันแบบมันจะสนุกขึ้นเรื่อยๆจริงๆครับแล้วก็ขอบคุณครับที่ซัพพอร์ตพวกเราทุกคนเลยครับ
So thank you everyone especially thank you international fans who are very open-minded and very interested enough to come and become a fan of Your My Sky and just like what they said it's even going to be more exciting and more fun things coming up so please stay tuned and yes thank you so much once again
Thank you for sitting down with us for this interview
ค่ะก่อนอื่นขอบคุณมากนะคะที่สละเวลาที่จะมาอินเทอร์วิวในวันนี้เนาะ
So we gathered some questions from your fans because they had a lot. And so the first couple of questions are going to be for both of you to answer.
So วันนี้เนี่ยมีคำถามหลายอย่างเลยจากแฟนนะคะ FC นะคะแต่ว่าคำถามข้อแรกๆในช่วงแรกๆเนี่ยจะอยากให้ทั้งสองท่านตอบทั้งคู่เลยนะคะ
โอเคครับ
So the first question, did either of you know about BL or Series Y before auditioning for You're My Sky?
สำหรับทั้งสองท่านเลยก่อนที่จะมาออดิชั่นเรื่อง You're My Sky ได้ทราบเกี่ยวกับซีรีส์ซีรีส์ Y หรือ BL ไหมคะ
รู้จักครับ yeah
ก่อนออดิชั่น
ครับผมก็รู้จักมาอยู่บ้างอยู่แล้วครับผม
Yes partially you've heard of it before
I think it might be hard to have not heard about it since it seems to be trending a lot these days.
ดูเหมือนเป็นที่นิยมมากเลยในช่วงนี้แสดงว่ามันคงแปลกที่ไม่ทราบเนาะเพราะว่าส่วนมากก็จะรู้กันอยู่แล้ว
yeah
So Alexa and I have been very impressed with your acting skills in You're My Sky, and we want to know if you have any acting experience before you played in this series.
ทั้งคุณอเล็กซ่ากับคุณเคล่าคิดว่าการแสดงของทั้งสองท่านเนี่ยค่อนข้างเก่งมากเลยก็เลยตกใจแล้วก็เอะใจว่าก่อน You're My Sky เนี่ยเคยมีการแสดงอะไรมาก่อนหรือเปล่าคะ
ไม่เคยครับผมไม่เคยครับไม่เคยแสดงอะไรมาก่อนเลยครับ
For Boom no experience whatsoever never had any acting career in the past แล้วคุณจำนะคะ
ครับของผมก็ไม่เคยแสดงอะไรมาก่อนเลยครับนี่เป็นเรื่องแรกของผมครับผม
So does Jum never had any acting or any drama career in the past this is the first series that he ever played
Wow, you guys are doing awesome for it being your first series. Yeah.
You would never be able to tell that this was your first acting role.
ดูไม่ออกเลยว่าเป็นบทเล่นหนังครั้งแรกนะคะแสดงว่าทั้งสองท่านต้องเล่นเก่งมากๆแน่เลย
Thank you
So, do you want to tell us a little about the audition process for You're My Sky? Like, how did you hear about the opportunity and how did you go through auditioning?
งั้นช่วยแชร์หน่อยได้ไหมคะว่าไปออดิชั่นเรื่อง You're My Sky ได้ยังไงบ้างไปไม่รู้ว่ารับข่าวสารมาจากไหนแล้วก็ตอนไปออดิชั่นเป็นยังไงบ้างคะ
ครับของบูมก่อนนะครับของบูมก็เริ่มจากรู้จักมีพี่คนหนึ่งที่รู้จักครับเขาก็พามาแคสของ You're My Sky ครับพอได้มาแคสปุ๊บก็รู้สึกว่าแบบมันตอนแรกบูมได้บท B มาก่อนนะทีนี้พอมาถึงหน้างานเขาก็บอกว่าเธอบทแสนเขาก็ให้บทแสนบูมมาอ่านแล้วอ่านอยู่ประมาณ5วินาทีได้เขาก็เลยให้เข้าไปในห้องแล้วก็ไปแคสแสนเลยพอได้บทนี้มาปุ๊บเขาก็บอกว่าโอเคเอาเลยครับเพราะผมเก่ง
So from someone that he knows, asked him to come, let's go for casting. And at the beginning, he got B's role. But then once he arrived at the location, the person said, no, you're actually more Sang's role. So he read at Sang's dialogue for a couple seconds, went in for the casting, and then he got the role.
Yeah, your energy seems very similar to Sen, so that makes sense.
ของผมนะครับคือเหมือนผมอ่ะได้ไปถ่ายคลิปเหมือนกับเหมือนเป็นเหมือนแบบแฟชั่นเสื้อผ้าอะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับซึ่งเขาแบบมีให้เต้นแบบท่าแปลกๆอะไรอย่างเงี้ยผมก็ไปเต้นเป็นวิดีโอสั้นๆลง IG ของเขาครับแล้วทางผู้จัดของเรื่อง You're My Sky ครับเขาอ่ะรู้จักกับทางคนนั้นอยู่แล้วเขาก็เลยแบบเห็นว่าผมแบบดูแบบรูปร่างส่วนสูงพอได้อะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับเขาก็เลยแบบลองติดต่อผมมาครับผมให้มาลองแคสดูครับ
So for Jump, he has uploaded a video before for some fashion brand. He had to add some dance moves for kind of a promotional related, and then producer of You're My Sky perhaps knew the person for this another job, and he saw Jump's video and he thought that his height, his look matches this role, so he has requested him to come for a casting, and here he is.
Awesome.
So
he jumped so handsome.
So do you think there are any similarities or differences between you and the character you play? I guess for Boom there would be some similarities, but for Jump, like, do you think that you are similar to your character or very different?
คิดว่าตัวเองเนี่ยมีความคล้ายคลึงกับตัวละครที่ตัวเองเล่นมากน้อยแค่ไหนบ้างคะเพราะว่าดูเหมือนคุณบูมค่อนข้างจะใกล้เคียงกับบทที่ได้รับแต่ว่าไม่ทราบว่าทั้งคู่เป็นยังไงคะ
ของผมก็รู้สึกว่าจะมีหลายๆอย่างครับที่ผมกับอ้ายอ่ะจะคล้ายๆกันอย่างเช่นพวกผมจะเป็นคนแบบถ้าเกิดไม่ได้สนิทเนี่ยผมก็จะแบบนิ่งๆเงียบๆผมจะเป็นพวกไม่ค่อยเขาเรียกว่าไงไม่ค่อยชอบแบบความวุ่นวายครับผมก็ชอบแบบอยู่ว่างๆผมก็อ่านหนังสืออาจจะแบบไม่ใช่หนังสือเรียนเหมือนอ้ายผมว่าแบบอ่านพวกการ์ตูนอะไรอย่างเงี้ยผมว่างๆก็คืออ่านการ์ตูนอยู่นิ่งๆเงียบๆอะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับ
So there are some similarities Jump that can find from himself and I's role, which is he's quite introverted as well. He doesn't like to talk to some stranger too much. He doesn't like where it's too loud or too much. But it's not to the point where he will read a academic book when he's free, but he will read cartoon books, which is also quite similar to the character.
So since your characters are so different in the series, I want to ask, what's your favorite thing about like your partner's character? For Jump, what's your favorite thing about Sen? And for Boom, what's your favorite thing about I?
ถ้าเป็นชอบอะไรในตัวละครตรงข้ามของเราคะในตัวละครนะใน characteristic ของไม่ใช่ของบทที่เราเล่นของบทคู่เราเนี่ย
Gotta think about it.
ยากนะเนี่ยถ้าบอกว่าไม่ชอบเลยได้ไหมครับ
He doesn't. What if I don't like anything at all?
ล้อเล่นครับล้อเล่น
That's a good answer.
It's a joke. It's a joke, of course.
ผมชอบแสนตรงที่ว่าเขาเป็น เป็นคนที่เหมือนจริงใจครับพอเขาเหมือนรักใครแล้วเขาแบบทุ่มเขาเห็นถ้าเขาเห็น opportunity คือเขาจะแบบคว้ามันไว้แบบทุ่มเทให้กับคนคนนี้เลยแบบไม่วอกแวกครับผม
What he likes about Sang is that Sang seems like a trustworthy people, like loyal. Once he likes someone, then he invests everything into that person. When there's an opportunity, it's a person who would grab that opportunity and doesn't get distracted by other external factors. That's what Jump likes about Sang's character. คุณบูมล่ะคะ
ของบูมก็รู้สึกว่าตัวอ้ายเนี่ยเขารู้สึกว่าแบบจะทำอะไรเขาก็ต้องแบบตั้งใจให้เต็มที่ครับอย่างเขาจะไปสอบชิงทุนจุดมุ่งหมายเขาชัดเจนอยู่แล้วครับแต่แบบด้วยความที่มีอุปสรรคก็คือผม แต่คือแบบชอบตรงที่เขาแบบตั้งใจทำอะไรก็คือแบบทำเต็มที่อะไรประมาณนี้ครับมีความเป็นผู้ใหญ่
What Boom likes about I is that I is very mature character, and whenever I wants to get something, he goes for it, such as for those exam and for the test. For Boom Sing, the most disturbance thing for I would be his character, but for the rest, it seems like that's what Boom likes about the opponent's character.
So do you have, without giving any spoilers away, do you have a favorite scene that you have filmed in You're My Sky?
มีฉากไหนที่เป็นฉากโปรดของตัวเองไหมคะในตอนที่ถ่าย You're My Sky โดยที่ไม่พยายามไม่สปอยเนาะเพราะว่าทาง FC ก็อาจจะกลายเป็นสปอยได้นะ
Or if you want to give us spoilers, you can give us spoilers.
ก็ได้ค่ะ
just a little bit spoil อย่างผมครับผมคือมันจะมีตอนที่ผมได้ไปเที่ยวผมจะชอบฉากหนึ่งมันจะมีเหมือนกับพูดได้แค่ไหนวะเนี่ยชอบฉากตอนไปเที่ยวมันจะมีฉากที่เหมือนกับมีความน่าตื่นตาตื่นใจที่ทุกคนต้องรอคอย
So there's a scene where they're going somewhere which we can't say where, but there's some exciting things going on within that scene. He can't really say much without spoiling, it seems. So that's the most he can tell. It's the scene where they're going somewhere.
Okay. All right. We'll look out for it.
เดี๋ยวจะรอดูนะคะ
ในกล้องผมไม่รู้ว่าที่เขาถ่ายไปเป็นไงแต่ว่าถ้าจากตัวผมที่ผมอยู่ณจุดนั้นนะครับผมรู้สึกว่ามันเป็นอะไรที่แบบมันสวยมันน่าตื่นตาตื่นใจมากครับผม
Jump's not sure how it would look like from the screen that has been filmed, but from his perspective when he was filming, he found that was very exciting, one of the most entertaining scene that he had filmed. สำหรับคุณบูมนะคะมีซีนไหนไหมคะ
ของบูมรู้สึกว่าบูมชอบหลายซีนมากครับแต่แบบมันพูดไม่ได้ครับ คือมันมีแบบอังการมีความมือหวามากเลย
Boom likes many scenes but he can't spoil it at the moment.
Understandable. We'll just have to wait and see.
คงจะต้องรอดูอย่างเดียวนะคะ
So while you have been on set, have there been any funny moments that you've had or moments that just are memorable to you?
ในระหว่างที่ถ่ายทำที่ผ่านมามีฉากไหนมีโมเมนต์อะไรไหมที่แบบตลกที่ทำให้เรายังแบบจดจำแบบสนุกหรือตลกหรืออะไรอย่างนี้ค่ะ
จริงๆผมว่ามันสนุกไปเรื่อยๆเพราะเหมือนกับเราก็ยิ่งที่เราจะได้ถ่ายกันมากขึ้นเนี่ยเราก็สนิทกันมากขึ้นเราแบบมีการแกล้งกันมากขึ้นอย่างตอนที่เราไปแบบฉากที่เราไปเที่ยวเนี่ยเหมือนกับทุกคนมันเริ่มที่จะสนิทกันมากครับทุกคนก็แบบไปไหนไปกันเล่นน้ำไปเล่นบอลหรือว่าอะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับผม
So there are way too many moments that are very much fun, especially the more time that they spend together, the closer they got. So the scene where he said they're going somewhere in that specific location that they were away with, he have many fun memories from that scenes because or football playing scene and scene where they're playing in the water, etc.
Nice. So that kind of makes me think, we had a question from one of your fans in Singapore who also wanted to send you their love, but they wanted to know if there's any of the cast members on set who are playing a lot of jokes or doing pranks on the other cast members, and who would that be?
อันนี้เป็นคำถามจากแฟนจากสิงคโปร์นะคะ
ครับ
มีใครขี้แกล้งไหมในที่อยู่ใน
คริสครับ
คริสครับถ้าเกิดขี้แกล้งเนี่ยคริสถ้าเกิดชอบเล่นมุกอ่ะก็ต้องเป็นบูมกับเสือที่ชอบเล่นมุกแบบยิงมุกเรื่อยๆแบบไม่หยุดไม่หย่อนไม่ฮาก็ยิงอยู่ตลอดเวลา
Boom and Sia is the joker. They always have their jokes. They're shooting jokes always. Could be funny and could be not funny. Depends. But Chris will be the one who does the most prank on other cast.
But
so the
mostly
youngest
not
likes to cause
funny.
trouble. Mostly not funny. Oh, exposing Chris.
ไม่ตลกเสมอไปเนาะ
So, going along kind of with the jokester prank thing, is there one of you who breaks character the most whenever you're in a very serious acting scene?
แล้วจะเป็นใครคะที่อยู่ในซีนที่ซีเรียสแล้วไม่ควรหลุดออกมาจากคาแรคเตอร์แต่มีหลุดออกมาบ้าง
เยอะนะ
หลุดเหรอครับ
แบบซีนที่ต้องอินซีเรียส
Like me?
คือผมอ่ะจะไม่ค่อยรู้ของคู่อื่นเพราะว่าส่วนใหญ่เนี่ยจะเป็นที่ผมอ่ะจะถ่ายกับบูมซะส่วนใหญ่ครับแล้วก็พอคู่อื่นเขาถ่ายกันอ่ะผมก็จะแบบไปนั่งท่องบทอะไรเงี้ยผมก็เลยไม่ค่อยได้ดูของคนอื่นอ่ะก็เลยไม่ค่อยรู้ใช่ครับ
พี่นั่งกินพี่ไม่ได้
อย่าไปบอกเขา
For Jump said he doesn't really know about other pair because usually he will work with Boom and if they have free time Jump will go read his dialogues but Boom said actually he goes to eat and snacks not
But Boom, you think that person might be you who breaks character the most?
เป็นตัวเองหรือเปล่าที่บางทีหลุดจากซีนของหลุดจากคาแรคเตอร์ของตัวเอง
ไม่หลุดนะ
เรียกว่าลืมบทครับอย่าเรียกว่าหลุดอย่าเรียกว่าหลุดจากบท
มันเขาไม่ใช่ลืมบทพี่เขาเรียกว่าการจำบทแบบไม่ครบถ้วน
They're not just forgetting a couple of dialogues sometimes but doesn't mean it's breaking out of the character.
Yeah, it's understandable. So I have to ask Boom, this question is for you. So I saw on your Instagram there was a picture of you at a Blackpink concert and you've been throwing finger hearts at us this whole time. Are you a K-pop fan or just Blackpink fan?
อันนี้คุณบูมชอบ K-pop อยู่แล้วทั่วไปหรือว่า Blackpink โดยเฉพาะ
ดูแค่ Blackpink ครับแต่ก็มีของมีติดตามแค่จินยองครับเป็นแบบแยกออกมาเฉยๆ
So Blackpink specifically
GOT7 ครับ
and GOT7 not entirely K-pop fan but few K-pop stars.
Nice. We're big K-pop fans here, so we had to ask.
Alexa กับคุณเคลล่าก็ชอบ K-pop มาก
So before we wrap up, we just want to ask one more question. Do you guys have any messages that you want to give to your international fans who will be watching the interview?
มีอะไรก่อนที่เราจะจบอินเทอร์วิวในวันนี้มีอะไรอยากจะบอก FC ทั้งหลายทั่วโลกไหมคะ
ฝากติดตามครับผมฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์กด Subscribe ใน Twitter แล้วก็ฝากปั่น Twitter ด้วยนะครับแล้วก็อยากให้รักพวก
Stay tuned with us and like, share, subscribe any social medias that you can that would be appreciative
ก็ผมนะครับก็อยากจะขอบคุณนะครับแฟนๆทุกคนนะครับที่เหมือนกับติดตามพวกเราคอยเหมือนกับคอยเชียร์คอยให้กำลังใจพวกเราใน Twitter นะครับคือผมก็เข้าไปอ่านตลอดมันเหมือนกับช่วยมันสร้างกำลังใจให้พวกเรามากจริงๆครับการที่เหมือนกับได้อ่านที่เขาเข้ามาชมครับมันเป็นกับกำลังใจให้พวกเราเพราะว่านี่มันก็เป็นเรื่องใหม่ของพวกเราหลายๆคนแล้วก็พวกเราเนี่ยคือก็พยายามเต็มที่มากๆพอเรารู้สึกว่ามันมีอะไรกลับมาเหมือนกับเราไม่ได้หวังว่าให้มันกลับมาแต่ว่าพอมีอะไรส่งมาอย่างเงี้ยมันก็แบบทำให้เราเหมือนกับมีแรงที่จะเดินต่อครับ
So thank you so much thank you everyone for love and support, especially all these kind words on Twitter. Whenever they go and have a read on it, it really encourages them and give them a lot of strength to go on, because a lot of cast in this story, this is their first series, their first work as well, so it means a lot to them to see these kind of sweet messages.
It's pretty late over there for you, isn't it?
It's 9 p.m. right now.
9 p.m. That's not too bad. How has your day been?
It was quite good. Today we went to the temple for, how do we say it? It's the of the series. What the manager of the series is, becoming a monk today. I don't know.
Oh wow!
It's like for a month. Yeah, it's traditional ceremony. I think. Not really, but it's like he became a monk to pray for his parents, and yeah. พี่ครับ บวชภาษาคืออะไรล่ะครับ
It's what Thai men do when they reach this 18 or 20. They do it for like 6 days, 7 days, but they shave their head and everything, because they believe, like, when the Thai monk wear that orange clothing, your parents will hold on to that and go to heaven. So most of Thai people, Thai men, they go through this. It บวชก็เป็น monk แหละเนาะแต่มันไม่ได้แบบ you're not becoming permanently
right.
It's a Buddhist ceremony, I think.
Yeah, I think I've seen some actors go through with that ceremony.
Yeah. And then we went to bowling, and yeah.
Nice.
I was with Chris and Boom today.
That was fun. Yeah, it's still morning here, so we've been doing this since we woke up pretty much.
Boom is actually
Hello.
Here. I was actually
hello again.
I was something for
that's funny.
Do you happen to have a pair of headphones? Because sometimes whenever our audios overlap, it cuts yours out.
Okay. Let me go grab.
Hi. Thanks for stopping in again.
Hello.
Welcome back. You got a lovely stand-in. So I'm curious, when did you study in Canada? Did you do university there, or
It was high school. It was from grade 10 to 12.
Nice. Where did you where in Canada were you staying?
It's a small city called Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. It's like a city.
I asked that, but I don't know about Canada. So.
You probably know Vancouver, right? It's if
Yeah.
this is Vancouver, like right here, we need to get on a ferry to go on an island, which is called Vancouver Island, and there's two bays for ferries, which is in Nanaimo and Victoria, and Victoria is the capital city of British Columbia, which is a state in Canada. Yeah, it's a really small city.
Yes.
Not many
So I know.
not many people knows it.
Yeah, you said the name and I was like, oh, I only know like 5 cities.
It's a really small one.
Then you're probably used to. So I'm curious then, do you have a preference for like Canada's cold versus Thailand's like super hot weather?
It's like
Hello.
it's like you drink a boiling
Hello.
it's like you drink a boiling water and a cold one with ice. Yeah.
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 Two extremes.
Dakota is like it was -7 in Nanaimo, and like people from Quebec, they said like -30 there is not even that like as cold as in Nanaimo, which was
Oh my god.
really, really cold.
Yeah, no, we get to like -2 here Celsius and I'm like crying, wishing for summer. I don't like winter at all. I don't
There
think I
was
would
one
last in
time I
Canada.
went to New York and I was waiting for the countdown in Times Square. I was there since 12 noon until like 1, and that year was -20. Like it's the coldest year in 100 years.
Oh my god.
And I was there for 13 hours.
That's crazy.
So welcome. Thank you for coming to sit and talk to us today.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Hello.
Hello.
So we gathered some questions from your fans, and these first couple are for both of you to answer. So we're just going to get right into it. So what was your first time meeting like? Was there any awkwardness, and what were your first impressions of each other?
It was really awkward, yeah.
Yeah.
At first, Chris was kind of an introvert. He doesn't speak much. Like when I asked him question, he only replied me with like 1 or 2 words. So we didn't really get along there. But after some times we get to know each other. Now he's he's a prankster. Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah, or what he said, when there's when you put 2 introverted people together, they don't start to get along too well.
Yeah.
But I feel like our team, the production team, the managers, everybody did a good job like pushing us together, like somewhat forcing a friendship. But once we got to hang out more, talk more, work together more, it got a lot better really quickly.
Yeah, I feel like with the workshops and stuff, like exercises that you guys do, you kind of have no option but to get extremely close very quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what was it like auditioning? Did you audition for a specific role or something like that? And how did you hear about the audition?
For me, it's actually they were interested in one of my friends. So that friend introduced me, and then like there was one day like we go talk, and then they say like, oh, okay, you can come to the auditions. And when I went, beforehand they sent me script. So I was so ready. I read everything from script. I went there. The first thing they said, no, you play we. And I was, I get like 15, 20 minutes to read V's, and then I went in there and they like me, so yeah, that's it.
It worked out.
Oh, sorry, I'm having terrible allergies right now.
Oh, no.
Mine was a lot more simple. They found me on Instagram, as I used to do a lot of work modeling and runways, photo shoots for brands and stuff. So they found my profile on Instagram. They called my mom's number, and I think at first I wasn't gonna go, and then me and my mom talked about it. It's like, yeah, this is worth giving a chance. Giving it a chance. So I went to talk to one of the managers at a Starbucks, and then yeah, next thing I knew, I was sent to a workshop.
What was like the most challenging part for you from transitioning between like modeling and photo shoots to acting and workshops and the audition process and everything like that?
Oh, I think with acting, it's a completely different and bigger challenge because modeling got to a point where I wasn't really doing anything new. Whereas acting is always something new. It's always a new challenge. It's always a new role, a new character that you have to get into.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can never completely get used to things because there's always going to be a new role coming along.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because you guys mentioned being a little awkward in the beginning, what was it difficult for you to build that chemistry between your characters?
Between our characters? Well, I think it wasn't that difficult because our workshops were done as a group at first, but then towards the end, about I think a month before we started filming, we had workshops where it was specifically only us. So we that's where we started getting closer, started talking more. But then that's where we would also fully dig deep into our characters and how our characters feel, how to portray our characters, how our chemistry works together. So I think that was I think we got our characters' chemistry there before ours was
And
even
also,
there.
to get to know our character, like there are homeworks that we have to do. Like the teacher gave us like 100 something question about the character. What do you think it would be like? What do you think the character personality is? What he likes? What would he do in this situation? What, like, things like that. So that makes us knows more about the character, what we think it will come out, and like and then we get the workshops that are only us. So like we get to play some scenes that was in the series before shooting. So we kind of get along there, and also we kind of get to know what we are facing. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
So what were some of your first thoughts when you learned more about your character and the storyline?
It's it's not easy, and it's not a typical role because of my sister.
Yeah.
It's definitely a story.
It's scandalous.
Well, I thought it was really cool. I thought this is a role where if we play this out well, if we play this out correctly, this is a role that will stand out. This is something that people will watch and be like, damn, I've never seen this. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, honestly, just from, we've seen the first 4 episodes so far, and I feel like from what we've seen from the international fans, your guys' storyline has like a grip on the fandom. Like everyone is so into it.
Yeah.
It's like kind of scandalous, but like you guys have done such a good job with like the chemistry and the intensity of the relationship. People have really
thank
been
you so
enjoying it
much.
from what we've seen.
Thank you.
But a lot of people have been asking us, like, considering your storyline, what would you guys do if you found yourself in the situation where you were falling for your sibling's partner? We got that
Right.
question so many times.
I'd pack my bag and book
Just leave.
Me,
watch the next few episodes and find out.
but for you personally, Chris, I have no idea too.
idea.
What would I do? But I'll probably end it. Yeah.
See, but I think that's why our couple is a very fun watch, a very interesting watch, because if you put yourself in that situation, you have no idea what you're gonna
do.
Right.
Exactly.
So do you think
I can't imagine it.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do either
It's a
in
tough
that situation. Yeah. Yeah. So without giving spoilers, or if you want, maybe a little spoilers, did you have a favorite scene that you filmed in the series?
For me, it was in episode 3, where we went into the locker room and then give Dome the snack. And like it was the first time we used the trick and the wink and the line that it was said, "No, spicier." That one, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that line.
It's intense.
Intense.
That scene was really fun to film.
Do you have a different favorite one that you can give us any hints for, Chris?
Well, from the first 4 episodes, I think the one where the scene where the watch's heart rate goes up without me realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Where he was teaching me the trick, and then my heart was going. Yeah.
That was a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
They're all so good.
Yeah.
I think if we were to spoil the next couple episodes, I think the scenes in the next couple episodes will be really fun because
yeah.
I'm
trying to figure out what you can say.
I'm not gonna become the top of worldwide entertainment.
Well, we don't want to get you in trouble.
I think I can say that. I think I could say it's in the teaser. I could say it. It's in the episode 5 teaser. I could say it. I think it's when we start fully thinking about, is what we're doing right? We want it, but is it right? Yeah. I'm gonna shut my mouth now.
Don't say more than you can. We don't want to get you in
7,
trouble.
8, 9, I think it will be a lot more intense. Yeah.
Intense.
It will be really intense.
Okay.
There will be
so
scenes that are hard to watch.
Oh no, that's kind of scary.
I'm excited though. I'm here for the drama.
Lots of it is coming.
So we've heard from So we've heard from your other cast members, Chris, that you are quite the prankster.
That is definitely a fact.
I don't think it's a single interview that this hasn't come up. First of all, I would like to say I'm a quiet person that keeps to myself and I don't bother anybody.
Portia's like, lies.
It's he said, she said. You can believe them, but I'm a truthful person.
Yeah,
now.
you are, yeah.
Were there any pranks or jokes you pulled that stick out to you that you could tell us about?
Well, I have a story to tell, though.
That's me.
Go ahead.
Please
There
do.
was one time we were filming and there were lots of people, and Chris just went straight to Pisia and then pulled his pants, and yeah. Everything came off.
No.
My everything
Oh my
is
God.
literally everything.
Long story short, more than just his pants came off. That was it wasn't the greatest moment on set. It wasn't the greatest moment.
Oh my God. That is so funny. I mean, funny, but like poor Sor that he had jokes
laughing at his expense.
I mean, his two jokes about this. Yeah.
I thought
as long as he jokes about it, then it's funny.
It's fine.
We can laugh. If he's laughing, we can laugh.
Mm-hmm. So who on set breaks character the most?
Break the character the most.
Breaks character. I think Pijam. Or I don't know. I think it's the boom jump couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Boom
think
said
so.
himself,
Because
so.
Boom is actually San, and San is actually Boom.
Yeah.
It's all
It's
adding
the
up.
same.
Chaotic person.
I can see no difference.
They play their roles in a really natural way, and it
Yeah,
just
it's
cracks
natural.
everybody on
'Cause
setup.
it's actually him.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, not to snake him at all, or not to give him smack down his back. They like to mess up their words a lot. So sometimes they gotta
Boom's always
saying the
switching
lines.
words.
Yeah, they definitely downplayed it. They were like, "Oh, we forget lines sometimes, but
No,
it's
they
not
don't
that
forget
bad."
lines. They
We're
just
uncovering the
switch
truth.
words, switch
They just mix
most
up
of the
words.
words. So it takes quite some time for them to actually make it right.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious, Chris, because you're one of the youngest members in the cast, but you're meant to be playing one of the seniors in the show. Was it like hard for you to kind of switch into a senior role when you're actually playing with people who are all older than you?
I don't think it was hard at all. No. I think there were times where I forget that I'm playing the older character, so I accidentally say P, which is how you refer to someone older. But the atmosphere, I think, it's completely normal, because even though they're older than me, and I do respect them as elders, but they just treat me like the same age as them. They treat me as one of their friends. It's not. Yeah, we're all one big group.
That's good to know. Yeah, it's honestly like when you have like an ensemble cast, I mean, you want to believe that everyone will get along, but it's nice to actually hear it from the cast that you guys are just like a group and you all actually do get along.
Yeah, I was stuck in a parking lot with Porsche for 2 hours today. But the better part of 2 hours. It was crazy.
Yeah, that would not be fun to do with someone you don't get along with.
It wasn't fun anyway. But we killed sometimes with Pite previous series. Yeah, Why Destiny.
Oh, why Destiny?
Oh.
You're watching Why Destiny in a parking lot.
Oh my god, I love it. What did you think of it? Did you watch Tay's episode specifically?
2.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I would say no comment.
I just the role he's playing here, I never would have thought I'd seen him playing something like that. Like playing.
Yeah.
Like when I see Why Destiny and I think of him, I'm like, is this Peter? Is it actually him?
It's polar opposite.
Same person. Yeah. It's the mark of a true actor. So I have a question for both of you guys. So after filming a BL series, do you feel like the way that you, because like we all know BL is a very popular genre in Thailand right now, but after like actually being in a series and filming a series, do you feel like the way you see the genre has changed at all or expanded?
For our series, it's not focusing on love and like everything is so sweet and stuff. We focus on passion, sports, how like it's not just love, but there are some loves. And for me, our series is not. I wouldn't say it's. I would say it's like a normal series, which there are two people that loves each other. That's it. It's not about gender.
Well said.
Yeah, I think one of the things that also sets us apart is it's not just sweet stuff, pickup lines. It's how the two characters are growing together, how the couples are growing and evolving with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of dramas out there that are just pure fluff, but I feel like especially with your guys' storyline, you know, you're straying away from that into something a lot deeper and more complex, which is really nice to watch for a change of pace.
After filming, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I really I don't know what I was gonna say. Okay, sorry.
Kayla.
Oh, I was just gonna say before the next question, you guys got me interested in the sport, which I feel like is a good indicator that this series, there's a lot of passion, like you said, in the story where you're not just focusing on love. I'm actually like, I want these people to succeed at what they're doing as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've never cared so much about sports before in my life.
There are a lot to choose from. There are 3s.
I know. So we asked this to Tay and Swar because they were playing basketball. What kind of training did you guys have to do for like the track scenes and that kind of stuff? I don't even know how like you would train for running track, but was there like any training that went into it?
Not really, because
no.
I used to
just
race.
Pretend.
Yeah, just legs go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to.
So you already
race,
have the training.
I know pretty much most of the things. Yeah, and it's not that hard, because it's just run. And Chris also plays sports.
Yeah, I thought it was still really challenging to shoot.
Yeah, so if you're like athletic already, I feel like it's pretty easy to grasp.
It was actually it was quite difficult
definitely.
to shoot. Because you have to run fast enough to look like you're running really fast, but slow enough to not completely run out the frame.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, if you ever see a photo of me playing sports, my face looks terrible. So I gotta focus on
Keep
that.
it pretty. Yeah, I
And like in the
can
scene on the
imagine.
last episode, like when I was running, it looks like it wasn't fast because I can't go faster than that. If I go faster than that, the camera won't catch me. That's like the hard part where like we have to look like we are
Right.
fast, but we can't actually be fast.
Yeah, that's really, I feel like that's really hard to find a medium of how you do that. I mean, I think it looks good, but like I said, I'm not a person who knows anyone about track, so that's just like a normie's opinion.
Normie.
A non-sports person's opinion. So did you guys like learn anything from filming You're My Sky, like in terms of what you think the show has to say? What did you guys take away from that as characters in the show?
Well,
If that question makes sense.
loves have no limits, I guess. And I would say, don't be like we.
I've learned that.
Don't be like we. It's a really difficult
Don't be like
situation.
me.
Yeah.
Don't go after your sister's man.
Don't go after your girlfriend's brother. I'm not sure how to phrase it, but I think I've learned that
Take your time, take your time.
I think it's partially what he said too. Love has no limits. You might have to go through a very messy storyline before you find the right person.
I like that. Sometimes it's messy, but I guess we'll see if it was worth it in the end in the later episodes.
True.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Sometimes it's messy.
Do you have...
All right, so one last...
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kayla.
So, yeah, one last question for the both of you. Do you have anything you would like to say to international fans?
Thank you, everyone, for watching, supporting us. We really appreciate your supports, and we love you all. Thank you.
Yeah, we love you all, and we really do appreciate every single bit of support. I promise you that at least one person, I know I have, but I promise you everybody has read every single tweet that's been tweeted about You're My Sky. So we read every single one, and we appreciate
if you
every
look at my
comment.
Twitters, it's all retweet from the fans. We really read it. Yeah.
Yeah. In your IG stories too. I love going through everything that you guys post from the fans on your IG
Sometimes I
stories.
don't get all of it
because I think
it's expired and it doesn't show on my Instagram. Yeah.
We share as many as we can.
Yeah, I love to see it. It's really cool to see people interact so much with the international fans and just the fans in general. I know it means a lot to the international fans.
They take the time out of their day to support us, so the least we can do is appreciate it.
And that's it for this week's episode. A big thank you to Tay, Suar, Boom, Jump, Chris, and Porsche for taking the time to sit down with us. We've had so much fun getting to know everyone. For international fans, you can watch You're My Sky on Viki. New episodes are released every Saturday. Another big thank you to our interpreter, Bom. We'll put her details in the episode description if you're ever in need of a Thai or Korean interpreter. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and share this episode with your BL-loving friends. Did you know that we have a merch shop? You can find it at lovecastthepodcast.com. We have hoodies, stickers, shirts, and tote bags. And finally, if you'd like to support the podcast and help us to continue creating and releasing episodes, you can join our Patreon, where you'll receive exclusive access to extra content like my reaction videos, Pixie's audio chapters of BL novels, and Alexa's character analyses. You can also see behind-the-scenes clips from interviews and podcast recordings that didn't make it into the final episode, and more. So thank you for joining us this week, and don't forget to jump into the Discord server or share your thoughts with us in the comments below. So until next time, bye!
Bye-bye.
Hello, I am Chris.
Stop!
My name is
Welcome back. Chris is looking very different today.
It's the filter. He has a filter on.
the boom filter.
Cheers.
Cheers, I have water. Cheers.
What do you say?